Welcome back to Mac Talks of Football, and this is the video where we are gonna review my predictions for a match day 8 in the Premier League, and we're gonna see how many of them were correct and how many of them were quite wrong, and we're gonna see how many points I can collect. 3 points if the entire prediction is correct, and 2 points if the prediction is correct, but the scoreline is not correct. So let's go ahead and see how many points I can get. It has been a very bad weekend for me. I have been dreadful in Serie A, in La Liga, and Liga as well. The only good performance till now has been in Bundesliga. I got 50% of them right. So I am hoping that Premier League can turn things around for me. So let's start. The first game, it was Tottenham Hotspur versus West Ham. I went for a 2-all draw. I expected a very exciting game, a very even game. It was a derby as well. Spurs have been were struggling before the game, or before this game, and West Ham themselves were struggling, but West Ham often do a really good in this fixture, and I expected them to have a good game. It ended up being a completely different because the Spurs destroyed West Ham 4-1. But the game, it started in the first half like it was a very close game. Both teams really went at it, and it was West Ham who took the lead courtesy of Kudus. But then Spurs equalized and it became 1-1. In the second half, I mean, it was completely a different story. They annihilated West Ham at 3 goals in under 8 minutes, and that was it for West Ham. They never really recovered after that. Even they tried a lot and they created good chances, but they were not able to convert them. And I think that after being down 4-1, it's really hard for the players not to mentally come back into the game, and Spurs were able to dominate that. And after scoring those 4 games, they just sat back and they let West Ham have the ball and just see the game out, and they were able to go to do it. 3 big points, like it's a very big important points anyway, but to get it's a big derby game as well. To defeat West Ham in a way, it's like extra special for them. Good win for Spurs. They have now moved up to 7th. They are slowly creeping into that top of the table. It is taken them time, but they will hope that this upward trajectory continues. West Ham on the other hand, a 4th defeat of the season, and they are now dropped down to 15th in the table. It has not been a really good season. Like it has been disastrous, if I'm being very honest with you. And Lopetegui, he needs to do something really quick, otherwise I think his job is going to be under a lot of he's going to be under pressure, and his job is going to be on the line. The thing is, I even everybody thought West Ham are going to do really good. I expected in my prediction, I expected West Ham to finish at 6th. So you just know that expectations were so much, and their performances have been utter shambolic, if I'm being very honest with you. The next game was Ipswich versus Everton. I went for a 2-1 win for Ipswich. It was a 16th versus 17th clash. I thought it was going to be a very close game, and I thought Ipswich being at home, they have not won a game till now, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity for them to go ahead and get the win. But unfortunately for them, they were not able to do it, because Everton, I think they played their best game of the season till now. They were relentless in that game, attack after attack after attack, and Ipswich really, they had no idea how to answer them, how to cope with that, and unfortunately for them, they were not able to do anything. And Everton go ahead and score those 3 points and get the score those 2 goals and get the 3 points that they needed, and a huge 3 points for them. They are still 16th. It's not like they have moved places, but they have got now 4 points gap between them and 17th place Ipswich, who now it is now becoming a big problem. 8 points, still not a win in the Premier League, and they really need to do something very quick. Otherwise, it could be it could be a very short stay for them in the Premier League. The next game was Manchester United versus Brentford. I went for a 2-1 Brentford win. It ended up being a 2-1 United win. So it's another game where I get a single point. It's 3 games. I am still on a 0. So it is not looking really good for me in the Premier League as well. The thing was that Manchester United have been really inconsistent. Their form has been all over the place. So I thought, and they were coming back after the international break. And Brentford, somehow they have a good record at Manchester United, and they're the sort of form, sort of the team that you expect United to lose when nobody expects them to. So that was my thinking. But Brentford are a really good team as well. But in the game, I think Manchester United played really good. They created a good chances. They were you could just there are days you can just sense that the team is on a different level, and Manchester United were on at that day, and I think they richly deserve those points. And you can just see how good they were, even when they went behind, their heads did not drop. They just kept on going going and going, and they wanted to win that game, and they ended up winning that game. And the thing is, when you see performances like this, you know that United have players. They have all the talent, and they have the capabilities to play games like this, and to perform like this. And that is why when as a United fan, you just want to pull your hair out, and why are you not doing this every weekend, and why do we have to suffer? One weekend you are so good, and the next weekend you become atrocious. So that was that thing. I think great performance, and they richly deserve. They moved up to 12th. They were 14th before the game started. They have moved up to 12th. Brentford, on the other hand, I think they would be really disappointed because they did not play up to their potential, and they were not able to do what they would have wanted in a normal in a normal game. And the fact is that they still went ahead, and they were not able to hold on to it. I think Thomas Frank would be most annoyed about that they had United under pressure, but they were not able to hold on to that. They dropped below United. They are now 13th in the table, a place behind United and a point behind United as well. Moving on to the next game, it was Fulham versus Aston Villa. I went for a 1-1 draw. It ended up being a 3-1 win for Aston Villa. So another game where I don't get a point. Like 4 games in, I am still on 0 points. It is a disaster, not gonna lie about that. Coming back to the game, like I went for a 1-1 draw because both these teams are in a very good form. But coming back from the international break, I just thought that the players might not be able to perform to the level that is required. And I think I just thought they are gonna cancel each other out, but I was wrong. Not completely. It was a really close game. Both the teams really went at it, and the thing is that the only difference in this game was Fulham did not convert their chances, where Aston Villa did convert their chances. Fulham even missed a pen as well. That summed up their afternoon. Like they had so many chances to win that game, but they kept on missing. They even missed a pen as well. So Aston Villa, on the other hand, they took their chances and they got the 3 points. It's as simple as that. Nothing spectacular or nothing fancy in that game. Second defeat in a row for Fulham, and they dropped down to a 10th in the table now. Aston Villa, on the other hand, first win in their last 3 games, pushes them up to 4th, and they are now on on equal points with a 3rd place Arsenal. They would be really happy about it. They are everybody thought that Villa were going to struggle, but they are doing really well. Not just in the league, in the Champions League as well. So a great day for Aston Villa. The next game was Newcastle versus Brighton. I went for a 2-2 draw, and it ended up being a 1-0 win for Brighton. So another game where I don't get a single point. I mean, we're 5 games in, I have not got a single point. It has been a very bad weekend for me. The game, I expected a very high scoring game, a very open game, because both these teams like to play attacking football, really want to outscore their opponents, and the game was like that. Both teams really went at it. It was quite an open game and end-to-end stuff, and Brighton got the lead courtesy of Danny Welbeck, but it was Newcastle who were relentless in their pursuit of getting the goal. First, before they went behind, they wanted to get that first goal. They were not able to get it. Then after that, trying to get the equalizer, it was the wave of attack after attack and attack, but they somehow, every attack they did, Brighton repelled them. It was a consistently Newcastle attacking, and Brighton kept going back and back, but they never really conceded that goal. I think a spectacular performance from Brighton's defense, and a huge win for Brighton. 3 points. They now move up to the 5th place in the table. Newcastle, they dropped down to 10th in the table, and the thing is, they would just be wondering how they did not win that game. I think that's the only question the manager, the players, the fans, everybody would have, that how they did not score a goal and how they did not win that game, because they did everything in their power to score a goal, but they just were not able to put the ball in the back of the net. So I don't think they would mind that much that defeat, because the performance was really good. It was just one of those days where the luck was not on their side, and they just couldn't get any goal out of it. The next game was Southampton versus Leicester City. It was a very important game, a 6-pointer, so to speak, and I went for a 1-0 Southampton win. Southampton had still not won a game in the league, so I thought that this was the perfect opportunity for them, being at home and coming back from the international break. That was gonna have an effect on both the teams, but I just thought that Southampton being at home, I think they were gonna go ahead and get the win. And the way the game started, it looked like everything was going to plan. They go ahead and they take a 2-0 lead early on in the first half, and everything is hunky dory. Second half comes in. I don't know what happened in the break. Leicester come back and they are on a full fire, and they start attacking Southampton, and you start seeing Southampton making mistakes. They get the first goal, it becomes 2-1, and then that red card incident. Southampton get the red card. Leicester get the penalty. Jamie Vardy scores 2-2, and then you are wondering now, can Leicester, can Southampton hold on? Unfortunately for them, they couldn't hold on, and Leicester with the last minute of the game, last kick of the game, they score, and they score that goal, and they get the 3 points. Amazing comeback from Leicester. It is like one of those comebacks from the movies that you usually see, scoring that last minute winner. Huge points for Leicester as they move to 14th in the table. Southampton, I mean, another a defeat for them, still stuck in that relegation zone, still winless, and it's not looking really good for them. And I think now it's really starting to become, starting to come into their mind that a relegation is now gonna be yeah, it's looking like it's gonna be the thing that the relegation is gonna happen for Southampton. I thought when I made the prediction that one of the three teams that I thought were gonna be safe out of the promoted teams was Southampton, but right now it is looking really hard, and I think they might be the team that really go down this year. And the next game is a Bournemouth versus Arsenal. I went for a 3-1 win for Arsenal. And because like Arsenal have been amazing this season, they were undefeated before coming to this game. Bournemouth have been really struggling, and I thought it was going to be an easy win for the Gunners. The game was going very good. It was okay, nothing spectacular. Arsenal had a couple of good chances. They still not really scored anything, and then the incident happens where Saliba makes a tackle on their Bournemouth player, and the referee gives a yellow card. But then of course VR comes in. Howard Webb does his magic trickery, and somehow, some way, that same incident turns around, and Saliba is given a red card, and Arsenal are reduced to 10 men, and that changes the complexion of the game. Of course, everything goes to shit from then on. Like, I really don't want to talk. I don't want to talk about it because it doesn't matter. The same thing happened the following day in the Liverpool Chelsea game, and nothing was done. It was a yellow card. We are told that VAR cannot, influence the decision. They cannot change the decision. But when it comes to Arsenal, every rule goes out of the rule book, and Arsenal are judged separately than the rest of the league. People are going to say I'm salty and whatnot, but I really don't give a fuck because it is now becoming obvious. One rule for Arsenal, and then we, during the game, people come up and they start showing the clips and images, and what it has happened 8 or 9 times before, but nothing like that has been done before. But when it comes to Arsenal, of course, you have to give make special rules and harsher punishment for Arsenal because they don't want us to win the league. You can say it is I'm being a conspiracy, bringing out a conspiracy theory and whatnot, but it's the fact. For me, it's not just Arsenal. I have said this many times that FAR, the PGMOL are a shit organization. They are corrupt as fuck, and it is gonna continue them. Bournemouth good for a good win for them, a huge important win for them. They get the 3 points and they move up the table as well, so it was important for them to get the win. Arsenal, unfortunately, their first defeat of the season. They are still a third, but their rivals, both of them, they got the win. So City are 3 points ahead, Liverpool 4 points ahead. So now it's a big game for them in next weekend against Liverpool at home. They don't have Saliba, they don't have Odegaard, they don't have Saka, they don't have Calafiori, who got injured in the Champions League. So it is looking now at the moment quite bad for Arsenal, but we hope that something can be done, and we get out of this mess quite quickly. And please, PGMO, let's make sure that the game against Liverpool, you don't come up with another reason to send Arsenal player off and you to mess up the game. I keep on saying this, like I said the same thing for the Liverpool Chelsea game, like it's a big game, don't ruin it. Thankfully they did not ruin it that much, and I hope that the same goes for the Arsenal game this weekend. It's not been a good weekend for Arsenal, so they would hope that the next weekend is much better than this one. For me, it is not a good game. I think this is now 7 games in a row and I am on 0 points, so it has been quite a complete disaster, the Premier League. And usually Premier League is like my strongest suit. I get most of the points in the Premier League, but this weekend has been complete shit everywhere. My team lost the game and I am doing atrociously as well. The next game was a Wolves versus Manchester City. I went for a 4-0 win for Manchester City. It ended up being a 2-1 win. So finally, I have the first points on the table. It's just 2 points because the scoreline is completely long. I thought it was going to be a very easy win. I thought that, and so many other people thought that as well. But it was not an easy win for them. Wolves were amazing in that game. They go ahead, they take the lead 1-0, and then they just sat back. They sat back and they defended for their lives. City got a goal back courtesy of a Guardiola, a long range effort, and it is 1-1. But after that, City were relentless, attack after attack after attack. But Wolves were so good in that game. They made sure they wanted to get something out of that game. It would have been a huge statement for Wolves, and they did everything in their power to to make sure that City don't score until the last moment of the game. They get a corner, and their people are gonna come up and they say that the keeper was fouled and whatnot. When I did the review video, I also said that the goal should not have been stood or something like that. But no, it is part and parcel of the game. You play to your advantage, and City play to their advantage. He did not directly affect him. He's not touching him. He's blocking his way. It's part of the parcel of the game. To make sure that the keeper is not in a good form to stop the cross coming in, and John Stones pops up and scores that goal. A lot of stuff was said that VAR came in and helped City, but I think as an Arsenal fan, with I have seen what White has done, and I said a lot of things come up with become a reactionary when stuff like this, and especially when your team has been done dirty, so you are in anger. I said this stuff in my reaction video that if any other team would have been, it would have not been a goal. But I think a majority of the time that goal would have been given, and I think it was a good goal and a correct decision was made. So 3 points for Manchester City, important 3 points for them. They are still on the cocktails of Liverpool, and they get away from Arsenal as well, so good win for them. Wolves on the other hand, unlucky for them not to get anything out of that game, and they are still at the bottom of the table. The next game was the big one. It was Liverpool versus Chelsea. I went for a 2-all draw, but it ended up being a 2-1 win for Liverpool. So another game where I don't get any points. The thing is, I thought it was going to be a very close game. Both teams really going at it, and in a way, it was a very close game. It was a very exciting game. It was the same way that I thought that the game would go. Both teams went at it. Both teams sort of play the same way, attacking football. And these are the type of games that you want to see, like two big teams. It was like first versus fourth, and the two big powerhouses of the Premier League going against each other and giving us a good game of football. I think the only reason Liverpool were able to win that game, it was because of experience that they had. They have been playing for so many years together. I think that just got them over the line. And of course, Mohamed Salah being the main man, scored the goal, created the goal, and I think that was the main reason why Liverpool won. Chelsea, unfortunately, their main Cole Palmer was not on form, and I think that was the reason why they could not get the win. They have dropped down to 6, but I don't think that really matters because it's just a point difference. And next week, if they win, they could be right back into the top 4. Good win for Liverpool, a hard day for Chelsea. And the last game of the weekend of a match day 8 in the Premier League was Nottingham Forest versus Crystal Palace. I went for a 2-0 win for Nottingham Forest. I thought they have been really good. They started the season very good. They stuck, their form has been blipped. Had a blip in the last couple of weeks, but I thought that playing against a Palace side who are really struggling, they were going to win. They were home as well, but this game ended up being a more close than I expected it to be, if I'm being very honest with you. But it was an exciting, both teams really went at it. 20 plus chances created by each of the teams. Both the goalkeepers were on their toes the entire time, attack after attack. It was an end-to-end stuff, and it was Nottingham Forest who got the goal. Chris Wood gets the goal. It becomes 1-0, and then they defended very well as after getting the lead as well. They defended really well as well to get those 3 points, huge 3 points for them, and they got the win. Palace, on the other hand, I think they would be really disappointed not to get anything out of that game, and unfortunately for them, their winless runs continue, and they are still in the relegation zone. They need to do something to get a win and get out of that, because the score that they have, they really should not be there. And with that, my review is completed. for match day 8 in the Premier League, and I think it has been my worst showing ever of all the leagues, of all the weekends. Till now this season, I think this has been the worst performance that I have ever done, and like I am sad in a way that it has come in from the Premier League, because if all I would say that I usually do the best in the Premier League, and I cannot believe that it has come from the Premier League. Just 4 points collected out of a possible 30, utter disaster for me. I just don't know what to say, if I'm being very honest with you. Are quite shocking results, and just I can only hope that it gets better from now on. As I said, my team had a bad weekend with the result Arsenal, and then I go on and I make it even worse for myself. So yeah, that is it from me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the games, what you guys thought of my performance. Of course it was shit, so let me know what you guys thought in the comments below, and let me know how many points you were able to get, how many of your predictions came true. Let me know in the comments below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.